Hello everyone and welcome to Trial Yogi. Today's video is a short video on beauty and how beauty and the sacred or the divine are reflections of each other. So if we understand beauty, we can understand divine. Natural and artistic beauty is thus a gateway to the world of spirit or the world of consciousness. So what I mean to say by this is that the beauty on the horizontal plane, or the beauty we can observe in the world of senses through our sensory experience, functions, if we know how to use it properly, as a gateway to the world of spirit or into the world of consciousness. So by beauty, by exposing ourselves to and surrounding ourselves with beautiful things that are harmonious and symmetrical, we can increase the degree in which we allow our consciousness to manifest in the world, our divine nature, as we refer to it in yoga, our jiva-atman. If we look to religious iconography and religious artwork, the function of religious art is to draw our attention upwards towards the world of spirit, towards the divine. When we enter a church, for example, we are stricken by the gilded roofs, by the beauty of the art, by the symmetry, by the balance and harmony within the whole building. And that instills a certain feeling of awe and wonder within us that naturally draws our attention away from the world of matter, away from our personalities and our egos, towards the divine or towards the world of spirit. The same applies to religious iconography within Islam. When you go into a mosque, the rooms are often quite large and the domed roofs are instilling a certain sense of spaciousness within the prayer room, which has the same function. It draws your attention upwards towards the world of spirit, into spaciousness. If we look to the deific iconography of Sanatana Dharma and Buddhism, say for example the deities of Hinduism, one aspect of the depictions of those deities is to remind us and draw our attention towards the true nature of ourselves. If we look at a picture of dancing Shiva, for example, Nataraja, that picture is both a depiction of a certain aspect of Mahadeva, a certain aspect of Shiva, but it's also something that is supposed to remind us and draw our attention towards a certain aspect of our own consciousness, our own divine selves. The same applies to Buddhist iconography, especially within Tibetan Buddhism, within the Vajrayana. If you go to a Tibetan Buddhist temple, a Dharma center, or a monastery, you will see loads of deities, loads of both frightening and beautiful depictions of the Buddhist deities, the bodhisattvas and the yidams. And of course, one purpose of these deities is to be pictures of the deities. Another aspect of them is to remind you of the different aspects of consciousness intrinsic to you, intrinsic to yourself, your Buddhahood. So within Buddhism, when you look at the depictions of the Buddhas and the bodhisattvas and the deities, they're supposed to remind you of those aspects of yourself. If you look at a picture of Avalokiteshvara, for example, the Lord of Compassion, the Bodhisattva of active compassion, that picture is supposed to remind you that within you, within yourself, there resides a Buddha nature, a Buddhahood that is intrinsic to you as a human being since you're born as a human being. So that picture of Avalokiteshvara is also supposed to remind you that one aspect of your innermost self, of your Buddha nature, is limitless compassion towards all living beings. So we also need to understand that aspect of beauty. Within Christianity as well, you have the idea of being Christ-like from early Christianity. So depictions of Christ as well are also supposed to remind you of your potential to become Christ-like. And note that when I'm talking in these videos, I'm not sectarian at all. I'm not denominational. Now I'm talking about all religious traditions, all spiritual traditions. I think I have no issues with other religions, even though I'm a follower of the Buddha Dharma, Norse paganism, and the Sanatana Dharma. I have no issues with other religious or spiritual traditions, as long as they are real, genuine traditions. In this video, I'm trying to be as general as possible. So no matter what your tradition is, what religion or spiritual lineage you belong to, you can use the information I share in this video to try to approach the beauty and the artwork within your tradition, within your religion, in your own way. So the human capacity to understand and appreciate beauty is something that really separates us from animal life forms. As far as I understand, we're the only organism or living being on this planet that has an appreciation for beauty, a longing and an intuitive understanding of what is beautiful, what is symmetrical, what is harmonious. Keep in mind then that what is beautiful is a reminder of what is spiritual, what is beautiful within us. And that's the main function here. Why do I say this? Why do I say that beauty on the material plane is a reflection of ourselves, our true selves, our consciousness from the spiritual plane or the divine? That's because beauty, when we perceive something as beautiful, that's because it is symmetrical. Symmetrical means that everything is balanced in accordance with each other. Every component of what we see is in harmony with the rest of the expression. And thus beauty is a reflection of spirit, because our consciousness, our drashtu, or our Buddha nature, our jiva-atman, our soul, is also something that is complete in itself. In Vedic tradition, we say that the jiva-atma is always part of the paramatma, which means that our individual consciousness is simply our individual expression of the consciousness that underlies everything else in the universe. And the real goal is thus to recognize that the spark of consciousness within us is the same as the fundamental consciousness that underlies everything else in creation. So it's a process whereby if we compare our individual spark of consciousness, jiva-atma, to a drop of water, and the great consciousness, the paramatma that underlies everything in the universe, to the ocean, we do not bring that drop within us back to the ocean, but we recognize that the nature of the drop is the same as the nature of the ocean. So by understanding the drop of water within us, our spark of consciousness, we can understand the nature of the entire universe, the cosmos. So thus, beauty is important because it reminds us of the completeness inherent in our own consciousness. And our capacity as human beings to recognize that completeness, to recognize that symmetry, that harmony that is represented in beauty on the material plane, is evident of our intuitive understanding of the completeness and symmetry of our own consciousness, of our souls, or of ourselves. Also, there is beauty in the natural world, sunrises, oceans, mountains, and our ability, our capacity to recognize beauty, harmony, and symmetry in the natural world as well, like apart from the world of art, is also evident of that intuitive understanding of the completeness of consciousness. A lot of people, even though they're atheistic or scientists, can recognize and understand beauty in the natural world and often speak about having spiritual experiences when they observe beauty. There are very few people who can watch, say, a sunrise over the ocean without feeling some kind of resonance within themselves, which is evident of that intuitive understanding that I referred to earlier. So earlier, before modern times, the role of art was to elevate the human spirit. If you look at Greek art, for example, how the Greek statues are depicted, their symmetry, their perfectly balanced proportions, that was supposed to inspire human beings to seek the heights of what they could become as humans. The same applies to religious art throughout history. The purpose of religious art has always been to inspire us towards improvement, towards development, towards reaching upwards, towards the world of spirit. And sadly, modern art is more about depicting how low the human being can sink. A lot of modern art is chaotic, it's ugly, And it's not really art anymore at all. Like, I do not view modern art as being art at all. Of course, there are some modern artists who are still actually portraying beauty and helping human beings strive. But when I say immerse yourself in art, immerse yourself in beauty, I'm of course not referring to modern art, which is, it's not art. So what I wanted to say in this video is, by exposing ourselves to beauty, we are also constantly reminding ourselves about the nature of the divine and the nature of our consciousness. Go out in nature as much as possible. As much time you can spend in the nature, the better. Because being immersed in beauty, looking at the symmetry and the harmony that is inherent in the world of nature, is a constant reminder and an inspiration to seek towards the world of spirit, or the nature of yourself. So seek beauty, because in beauty is eternal truth revealed. Thank you for watching this video. Hope it was a benefit to you. May all beings be happy and free of suffering.